Welcome back. Elton's retirement journey. In this segment, we're going to talk about um, wages and your employer. One of the big things that I've experienced, and I'm using myself as an example, is something I call wage suppression. And what wage suppression is when you're doing a job and you're paid much less than your peers. Wage suppression will affect your ability to purchase and have the things you want as you're working, as well as the calculations toward your Social Security going into the future. I'm going to give you an example. I got my first computer job in 1982. 1982, I later got promoted to a trainer, and I went from 12,500 to 15,000. 83, I moved to Washington, D.C. I got up to about 17,500. When I got to Washington, D.C., I found out that the cost of living was much, much higher. And I also found out that a lot of the people who were previously working at the site that I was at were leaving because they all found better jobs paying more money. And I did find that out myself. We had another vendor there that was working on the word processors that were installed there. I was talking with him. They had a position open, and I applied for it, and I got an offer. So I went back to my employer to put in a 2 week notice, and they said, "Well, hold on, we want to talk to you before you leave." And during that first interview with the manager, he was saying that they were planning to do a salary adjustment. They know that a lot of people are leaving because of the low salaries. Hold on. I said, "No way. I got an offer here. It's more than what you're paying me. I'm leaving." And they said, "Oh, well, okay." So I talked to another regional manager. And he said, "Well, we just want to talk to you, make sure it's just the money." And they offered me a 36% pay raise. So if you take the 17,500 and add 36% to it, that took me up to about 24,000. The other job was offering about 22,000. So what I wound up doing is I stayed. I stayed with them until that job ended, and I took another position. So the next position, as you know, I was from the previous. I worked in the computer store first as a tech, then as a salesman. I learned networking with a software called Novell Network, and by my having sales experience, I knew quite a bit about all the components that would go in a computer. Anyway, I got a job with a flat panel display manufacturer, and I became their help desk, their system admin, as well as the tech. And some of the projects that I worked on, which is very important. If you work on projects, document what you're doing and the dates, and you can use those to leverage towards another job. Anyway, one of the things I did was I upgraded their email system. First, I got it working. And as the company grew, we needed more license, but they didn't sell that product. So I had to do an upgrade. I upgraded the database, I upgraded the clients on all of the computers, including the Macs that we had, and it was called GroupWise. That project there was significant. Now, I also found out by joining some user groups that I was grossly underpaid because I was doing wide area network, connecting the computers between two buildings and etc. Anyway, I found out that that job was paying me way less. I was at about 28,000, and that salary should have been well over 40. Um, so one day I was upset because of, I got in and I needed to do a bunch of other work and it was only me. So I talked with the HR manager. He said, "Well, what's going on with you?" And I told him, I said, "The wages are not competitive and it's too much work for one person." They didn't like that, but it was true. It took a little while, but I got a significant raise. I got bumped from about 28 to up to about $38,000 a year. So as you can see, I'm able to put more into the 401k. I'm able to afford more um, by fighting, and it's a fight to fight the wage suppression that these employers have a tendency to do. Um, so with that, they brought another person in. Person was very green, couldn't work on anything, barely could train them. She left. They brought somebody else in, and I think they told him, "Don't help Elton. Don't help him." And he just sat around. And I was like, "You know what? I'm out of here." I used that project of the email system, and I leveraged it to get a position with a law firm. And so I went from 38,000 to 45,000. I originally asked for 50, but I took the 45,000. It was good that I did that because the flat panel display manufacturer went out of business 8 months later. Um, and that's an example of how you have to leverage um, your skill set in the industry because these employers will pull the wool over your eyes. I got down here to Atlanta 2005, 2007. I'm working for a recycling company. Over the 5.5 years, I got two raises. We used to get bonuses, but that ended in 2009 with the recession. And that job had some issues too because its 401k and the offering was not that great. When these employers are saying we're going to give you, 50 cent up to the first 2%, you're looking at about $500 a year match on anything you put in. Strike number one. Strike number two, no regular increase. Strike number three, you can't use any sick days. If you have a day where you just don't feel like coming in, you can't call in sick. You don't get paid. You have to have a doctor's excuse. So I got back to Atlanta. I was in Savannah and I started looking, and my boss even found my resume out on Career Builder, asked me what was going on. But anyway, I got another job, and when I got that job, it paid so much more that I didn't even give them 2 week notice. I took the offer on a Wednesday. I quit on a Friday. I started the other job on a Monday. They didn't get a 2 week notice because I was grossing an extra $100 a week. So that means that I went and got a $5,200 raise. I was making 19,000, um, and I went straight up way higher than that. It worked out to about $5,200, and then the bonus. Well, not the bonus, but the other features of the sick days, fact that they have gym membership, that and the match on the 401k made it worth it. Long story short, evaluate your employer as they evaluate you. And if you're not getting what you think you deserve, find a way out and get yourself another job because your calculations for your Social Security are based on your highest years of earnings. And if you're kept artificially low or your wages are suppressed, you won't be able to afford the things you need: better housing, qualifying for a mortgage, um, investing in your taxed money, investing pre-tax money. It's going to hamper what you do. And with this said, that's all I got for you. I hope these tips help. Elton's retirement journey. Thank you for listening.